not hot. She got it.
All right, welcome everybody. Good to have everyone here with us tonight. Today is Tuesday, December 9th, and it is 7:01 p.m. We are convened as the Provo City School Board of Education meeting at 280 West, 940 North in Provo, Utah. And we're going to begin with a roll call. And Devin, let's go ahead and start with you.
Devin Daly, Business Administrator.
Lisa Boyce, Board Member.
Terry McCabe, Board Member.
Gina Hales, Board Vice President.
Jennifer Partridge, Board President.
Wendy Dow, Superintendent.
Meg Van Wagenen, Board Member.
Emily Harrison, Board Member.
Melanie Hall, Board Member.
Bailey Lindstrom, Student Board Member.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion to convene our business meeting?
I move that we convene our business meeting.
Okay, motion made by Board Member Hall. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Van Wagenen. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are now in our business meeting, and we are going to begin with opening remarks, and we'll turn that over to Vice President Hales.
One moment, I forgot. I have something. Hitting my phone. All right, I feel like there's just so much upheaval happening in the world, and sometimes I just get depressed and don't want to get out of bed. And then the holiday season is great until it's not, and you haven't gotten the gifts that you're supposed to get, and you haven't done the things you're supposed to do. And I have a quote that I want to read that I was meant to bring up before, and I did not. And this is from a religious leader, Howard W. Hunter. I try not to do that because I recognize that not everybody who listens to these meetings or attends these meetings is a member of this faith, but I feel like this quote applies universally across the board to everybody, and I hope that as the Christmas season goes on, we can apply it in education, we can apply it in our personal lives, we can apply it in a lot of different places. And it's something that I read every year. In my previous job, I would do trainings and things like that, and I went into a prison and trained men who had been in prison for a long time, as well as some staff. And when I got back, I read this quote every Christmas, and I take a look at it every Christmas, because a lot of the things that they were in for, if they had taken this advice, perhaps, and not just them, but the people around them, but if we would live by this, I really think we would all be a little bit better off. So it goes, this Christmas, mend a quarrel, seek out a forgotten friend, dismiss suspicion and replace it with trust. Write a letter, give a soft answer, encourage youth, manifest your loyalty in word and deed, keep a promise, forego a grudge, forgive an enemy, apologize, try to understand, examine your demands on others, think first of someone else, be kind, be gentle, laugh a little more, express your gratitude, welcome a stranger, glad in the heart of a child, take pleasure in the beauty and wonder of the earth, speak your love, and then speak it again. And I think that if we can keep that in mind, then we can maybe keep our chins above the water during this holiday season, and maybe make the world a little better place for us and our families, but also for the people that we come in contact with at the grocery store, at the gas station, wherever. That's my opening remarks.
All right, thank you so much. All right, next we have a video with our East Bay Post High student Brooke Hill, who I believe will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
All right, we want to thank Brooke for doing that for us, and just a few items coming up in our agenda. We will get a report from or about our East Bay Post High. So that was great to have her participate that way today. Okay, next is our Community Connections portion of our meeting, and we're going to start with the Provo Way Awards, and we'll invite Deputy Superintendent Jason Cox up to present those.
Good evening, School Board. Thank you for this opportunity. We have such a wonderful group we get to recognize. I love this opportunity each month. So tonight, as I read these people's names, I'd love for them to stand, and we can give them an applause as we go, each one, because we don't want to have to wait until they're all done. So here we go. Kayleen Nelson tonight is being honored. Ari Lashamanon. Jack Trunk. Joni Bauer. Becky Nowinski. And our student of the month this month is Ryan Clark. We have our video that we have shot about each of these winners, and afterwards we'd love to give the board an opportunity to thank each of you personally. So we'll watch the video, and then afterward we'll have you come up and start right over here and allow the board to give you a personal thank you.
Becky is without a doubt one of the most dedicated, hardworking, and kind individuals I have had the pleasure of working with. Every morning, she not only greets every kindergarten student by name, but the first and second graders that come through those doors as well. She is constantly looking for ways to enhance the learning experience, whether it be by coming up with creative songs related to the topics we are teaching, or designing engaging centers that are both fun and educational. She has an exceptional talent for identifying when a child is struggling and finding new effective ways to approach difficult topics. Becky knows how to meet each student's individual needs. Her dedication to the children, the classroom, and the entire team is something rare and special. I feel incredibly lucky to work alongside her.
Even though Jack is new to our school this year, she jumped right in and quickly learned every student's needs and accommodations. She goes above and beyond to make sure her students feel supported, valued, and capable of success. Jack is patient, creative, and compassionate, and she builds confidence in her students every single day. She is also an incredible teammate. Jack is always flexible and willing to step in when I forget something or need her support. In such a short time, Jack has already made a lasting impact on her students, her colleagues, and our whole school community. I'm grateful I get to work alongside such an amazing educator.
Ari exemplifies the spirit of the Provo Way Award through her dedication, professionalism, and genuine care for others. She consistently goes above and beyond to support her colleagues and schools, whether by responding quickly to emails, answering calls, or personally visiting a site to provide assistance. She approaches every interaction with kindness and respect, fostering positive relationships across departments and schools. Her intelligence, adaptability, and eagerness to learn new skills strengthen the work of the Continuous School Improvement Department. Ari collaborates seamlessly with others, listens to new ideas, and actively seeks feedback to improve systems and structures that benefit the entire district. Her thoughtful approach, strong work ethic, and commitment to teamwork make her a true example of the Provo way.
Joni embodies academic intelligence and exhibits strategies for evidence-based learning.
She swiftly travels from school to school and delivers enthusiasm and instructional support.
Weaving the thread of expectations, setting the learning cycle, then knowing when to cut the thread and let the teacher bloom on their own.
Joni is the personification of the Greek pantheon.
Kaylee Nelson believes in the difference that the arts can make in the lives of our Provo City School District students. She has pioneered the role of being a K-12 arts coordinator for our district, in addition to coordinating the Beverly Taylor Sorensen program in the elementary schools. Kayleen has done a fantastic job advocating for and supporting the art, music, and drama teachers who are working day in and day out to provide exceptional experiences in the arts. She also believes in our educators, and she stands behind them. She finds ways to selflessly promote their efforts and opportunities to share their voice through their chosen art form. Kayleen wants every student in Provo to shine and have a place of belonging. We are very fortunate to have her in Provo City School District.
nomination from Zoe Hale. Ryan is an incredible athlete, leader, and friend. She goes out of her way to lead with grace and kindness, looking out for the student who might not belong. She also loves Timpview and wants the best for the whole school, always supporting everyone. She is also currently Miss Teen Provo, and her platform is based on kindness and inclusion. She says, everyone needs a cheerleader, and she is the best example of that. I've watched her cheer on her teammates, friends, peers, teachers, and everyone else around her. She's one of the most supportive people I have ever met, and that is why she is deserving of the Provo Way Award.
We'd love to invite you up and have you start over here, and we'll again let the board members thank you, each of you that are here tonight. And while they're coming up, let's give them one more round of applause.
Everyone wants you first, Ryan.
We won't fight you. Everyone wants you first, Ryan.
So awesome. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Good job.
Thank you so much for all that you're doing.
Yay. Thanks for giving Kenny credit.
You're amazing.
This is amazing.
Oh my gosh, of course we have. Yes, thank you.
Nelson, right?
She has it.
Actually, Jennifer has it.
Thank you for being here. Thanks so much. Somebody with grandma. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hello. Thank you for everything you do.
Yes.
Thank you. I was just about to say, let's give them one more round of applause, but you guys already knew that. So good job. So thank you, and thank you for the examples you are in our district, and for those of you who are here supporting them tonight, to be here, take time out of your evening to be here. We appreciate it. You're welcome to stay and enjoy your entire meeting, but we totally understand if you don't want to. We do have next, sorry. I was about to say the wrong thing, but it will help us anyway. So next we're going to have a report on our East Bay Post High, and while our special ed director is coming up to present that, Nate Evelson, after that will be an opportunity for public input. So if you are here tonight to give public input, we have forms in the back, and we would invite you to please fill out the form now and come over here to our assistant Bonnie, and you'll turn it into Bonnie. And then when it's time for the public input, that's how we will know who is here to give that. So.
Every single person It's not personal. It's not personal.
I'm not worried about it at all. No, I think that's awesome.
All right.
It might be personal.
Welcome, Nate. We're glad to have you here.
It might yet be personal. Wait a couple years. Want me to go ahead and just start? Or should I wait for the volume to go down?
Do you want me to make them be quiet? I'm really good at that.
You don't want to ruin your fun.
All right, Nate, we'll have you go ahead and get started.
I can do it. All right, I'll try. I have ADHD, so I'll try not to be distracted. Okay. Well, thanks for the opportunity to come up again. It's been not too long since I've been with you, so thank you so much. And I'm excited to showcase a little bit about East Bay Post High, and at the very end, I've got a proposal I'd like some consideration for, so hopefully that will be something we can discuss. If you aren't, you probably already are aware, but if you aren't aware, we talk a little bit about what our focus is at this at our Post High program, kind of our overall focus. We serve students 18 to 22 years old, students with disabilities that are transitioning into adult life, and that is a broad, sweeping statement. Students with disabilities, so there's quite a range there. We do tend to focus pretty intensively on employment, independent living, and community participation. We do definitely look at academics and typically functional academics as it aligns to adult outcomes, so more career-based. However, we do have students that we serve that focus trying to get their high school diploma still as well. So, and then because of the nature of our students and also just their pathways as they become more specialized as adults, we do have highly individualized student goals. So what makes it a little different than what maybe we traditionally look at when we think about K through 12 education is, again, we focus on those adult transition skills. We put a lot of priority into community involvement, whether that be in out on a work site or recreating in the community, just to show and demonstrate how to do that appropriately. We emphasize, again, work experience, vocational skills and training. We use flexible real-world schedules. Some of our students don't come every day. They come at maybe they're working, and then they transition over to do some skills with us. So there's a lot of flexibility there. We work to promote greater independence and self-advocacy. We provide mixed age community interactions. Often as you look at special education, some of the things that we consider are our least restrictive environment, and we consider the community to be our least restrictive environment as our students are out with their same age peers from 18 to 22. And then again, we work really closely with vocational rehabilitation to try to improve our student outcomes in regards to gainful employment and also even post-secondary education experiences. So currently we have 35 students. Although not that many students, our intensities range from mild to very intense, and so the staffing that we have is, I think, commensurate to that need. You know, we work and have students with one of our part-time teachers that work almost exclusively with either adult ed and also working through their careers, and so they only meet our teacher and do periodic consult and also a little bit of instruction. So that's how light the patterns can be, all the way to every day, almost all day at the school, supports as needed. And so that's just kind of a big blend. So these are some of the work sites our students are out. Some of our students, we love to showcase them, and they're just out there doing work at the different sites and locations. And the bottom picture, you can see they're out recreating together and enjoying just some time in the community. So our staffing, we have one administrative assistant full-time. We have 5 paraprofessionals, 3 full-time teachers, 1 part-time teacher, 1 part-time speech provider, 1 part-time school psych, and then Chris and I provide the administrative staffing and supports, which has its challenges, of course. The expertise at the building, not including Chris and myself, we have all of these different levels of education and certifications. We think that's a lot going into support our students, and we're really proud of that. One of our celebrations is we have super caring staff who have very specific expertise in adult education and transition. We've expanded our location thanks to the generosity of the board and superintendency to be able to have more space to meet the needs of our students. The location is actually quite convenient for us and really helpful to meet the needs of our student and our focus and goals. And then we have some supplied vehicles, which we really appreciate because it helps us to get from place to place and provide transitions and supports, especially for our students who have specific scheduling needs that they may come and go as needed. So some of our unique challenges that we're trying to tackle right now, coordination across multiple campuses, because we do share students and support students in the adult ed program. Transportation between programs becomes kind of a tricky situation and can cause problems that take a little more resources to navigate. Developing meaningful standards, we're working on that right now. You know, typically post-high programs rely heavily on our IEP goals to be our standards, but I think that we can do differently by looking at CTE coursework and some things that have some great standards that relate to the content in the areas we're looking at to improve our rigor and our expectations. And so we're going to continue to look at that as a staff over the next couple of years. You know, increasing awareness of creative options to help our students. There's a chunk of students that we are missing in our district that we would like to figure out a way to catch. Whereas I think traditionally people look at our post-high program for a very specific niche of student. We actually want to grab more of our students. We have about 15% of our students who don't graduate on a regular basis, besides students who do either get a certificate completion and continue with us or an alternative diploma. We'd like to be able to find ways to catch those students who are at risk when they drop out and disappear. And so we've got some ideas about how we like to work on that. Of course, anything we do there requires some consideration of how we're going to use our resources, but we think that would be a worthy cause. And then we are working on and got some ideas about becoming a pre-employment provider. If you're not sure what that is, that's working like a sub-grant underneath vocational rehabilitation so that we can provide some awesome opportunities for students, not just on qualified through IDA, but also qualified under 504. Particularly our high school populations, we want to really focus on our 16 to 18-year-old populations, but then our students also from East Bay could benefit from some of this. It requires a lot of job coaching and finding businesses that we can collaborate with and cooperate with, and so that will take some resources that we think we can offset some costs on, but I'd love to talk to you more about that at some point when it's appropriate. We would really love, we had last year, Chris and our team worked on a really great, I was amazed, I was loving the branding of, they'd like to rebrand the name of the school from East Bay Post High to the Lift Academy, Learning Independence for Tomorrow. I think it's a fabulous idea that they really thought about the logo, could be maybe a phoenix, and I think that's really a cool idea. So I'd love to propose that as something for the board to discuss at some point. I'm not sure the steps on that, but I think it would be an awesome rebranding when and if we start to incorporate other components into the program. So that's kind of the gist of it. Any questions I can answer?
Who has a question? Go ahead, Gina.
So you said one of the challenges was supporting across multiple campuses.
Yes.
Is there more than one? I mean, what do you mean by multiple campuses?
So because our program should cover the 18 through 22 range, we have students over at Adult Ed that we provide supports for. But we also have students as they progress through their skill set, we need to move over to a less restrictive setting so that they can access and maybe pursue their goals. Like we have a couple students right now who are in between, they're learning some really important transition skills, but academically they also need access to that diploma option and program. Our students any student under IDA that continues to qualify can graduate all the way up until the age 22. Which is kind of nice actually in a lot of ways because it gives us some additional years to really support and help students who have those needs. And so we don't want to lose them. We want to make sure we continue to gain and retain those students to help improve their outcomes. And so that's one of the things we're trying to figure out how to do a better job of.
So when you said that you mentioned in there that where it's located, the East Bay Post High, where it's located is good for the business partnerships that you have.
Yes.
And I know that we have talked about having East Bay Post High or Lift Academy. I love it. I would vote for that.
Okay, awesome.
Based on just what I saw right here. But would it be problematic if they did move to the Timpanogos school?
It'd be even better.
Okay.
Yep, it's capital for us. That would be awesome. And especially for convenience or whatever that looks like, we could be housed with some of those like adult ed programs. I think we could really get innovative about that blend and also maybe even work with Clay on how can we provide a kind of a more of a CTE based program for our students to help increase our outcomes for post-high and enrollment. I think it would be a really fabulous opportunity. I think that would make Provo a really unique program and how we respond to our student needs. So it doesn't happen anywhere else. So.
Thank you.
Yes. Which question, sorry?
The one about moving to Timpanogos.
Yes. Yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be a dream come true for me. Yes.
So are some of the kids who are enrolled in East Bay Post High also doing adult ed classes, or does East Bay Post High, is there like kind of like both of you are offering certain classes that you're saying you could offer together? I'm just trying to understand.
That would be the best part, yeah. Whereas, so as an example, we might have students who go over to adult ed for a couple days a week, and so they're accessing some of the more evening courses, but they still really need a lot of functional skill supports and training. It would be easier to give those supports at a more convenient time to that student. Ideally, what I'd love to do, I'd love to become a hub of employment where maybe we can, for some of our students who are less impacted, but they have a deterrent to go to school or continue because they may be moved on and they want to work. If we could help to employ them in either a collaborative business partner or even with our own district while they're pursuing and finishing their high school diploma, we could actually pay them to do that and kind of create that sheltered experience, and then continue to retain them here, get them those outcomes so that they can benefit from what we all know is important, that high school diploma launch, and then kind of connect from there. So I really see it as being a really powerful experience, especially for students who have experienced a variety of issues, disenfranchisement or whatever, to have that redemptive ability. It really would be, I think, a capitalization on our mission as a district. So.
That's great. Thank you. Go ahead, Melanie.
My question is we support these kids up to age 22, and my question is what happens after 22?
Yeah, that's a terrifying prospect, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's not much we have the ability to do after that. What we try to work with strongly is vocational rehabilitation, which kind of emphasizes the point of doing this, becoming a pre-employment provider. I've got pretty strong ties just with my work relationships with VR, and so I already have some negotiated discussions about a summer program we could start this summer, which I'm looking forward to doing. But with that tie-in, that's where we can link in DSPD and some of these other agencies and help parents kind of either gather guardianship if they need to, or help adult students make that next transition, but it gives us a little more support before them. But after that, there's not as many programs, really. That's why it's really crucial we can hit them with everything we've got so that they're as prepared as possible. So it's a great question.
Anybody else have comment or question? That's great. Okay.
Thank you so much for your
Thank you for
support.
being here tonight, and this is very good. And I love, in fact, I've been thinking in the context of we might be moving the location of it. We need a different name. So I love that you guys have already thought of it and the inspiration behind it. So I think we can add it to an upcoming
That's awesome.
discussion or
I know our
whatever
team
we
would
need
love
to
it.
do on that. So
Thank you so much.
thank you so
Appreciate
much.
your time.
All right, now is our time for our public input. Do we have anyone here to give public input tonight? Yeah, if you'll just turn it into Bonnie over here. And then if you'll just wait 1 second.
Good evening.
So if you'll state your name and what elementary boundary you live in, and then
Which boundaries?
which elementary school boundary, what part of Provo you live in, right?
My name is Courtenay Ellison, and I'm in the Sunset
Great.
Elementary School boundaries.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
I am here because I just finished writing a property tax check. And so without trying to be derogatory or negative to anything or any of the efforts that you're doing, I do feel sometimes there's an accountability issue. And I do not have, all of my children are post-high school age. Between 5 of the 6, they have 7 degrees, postgraduate degrees, and a certificate. The number 6 has mental disabilities, so continuing education. That's approximately 78 school years, 65 of which I did at home. And it's very difficult for me to see proficiency rates where they are and still because I believe educated citizenry is very valuable and important, and while I think it should be done on a local level versus state and federal contributions, I also feel that if the proficiency rates aren't indicating that education is happening, then why am I paying my property taxes? Or why is that portion of my property taxes going to the situation that is not accomplishing what is, in my opinion, you've been tasked, not you specifically, but you know what I'm saying. The education system has been tasked with educating our children, and the proficiency rates are basically below like 42 to 48%, which is an F. So it doesn't feel like the money is being used, and not the gentleman's program. I mean, I'm not denying that there's a need, but why do you think you can do better with my money than I can do with my money, whether I'm doing something charitable or for my own home, my own family? So I would just like you to consider that. I've been told, there's talk about property taxes being reduced or eliminated. Some states get rid of them altogether and still survive, and
to talk anytime it comes up. I'm told to talk to the school board, so I thought I would run this by you. And I am concerned with the proficiency rates and accountability for that and what is being done with my money, because I surely could use the $10,000 a year that I've been paying recently. Not quite as much before, but I have grandchildren now and we homeschool, and so that money could go a long ways. And we, with the degrees and certificates and businesses that my children have, I feel like it's been well spent when we've used our money. So
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here tonight. We always appreciate people coming, taking the time out to come to our meetings and share your thoughts with us. And we don't usually respond to public comment, but I just want to say I'd be happy to have some follow-up conversations with you. I think student achievement is very important to us, and we, what's it been, a year and a half ago, implemented a year ago, our strategic plan, and that is our number one focus, is how to help our students with our achievement and their proficiency, their academic growth, and we try to keep that at the forefront. We recognize also that every financial decision we make does affect our taxpayers, and so thank you for sharing your perspective on that. We appreciate that. So.
Is there anything on the agenda tonight that goes over proficiency issues?
Not tonight, but we can point you to some other meetings where we have talked about that. So,
I've sent an email to a few of you, so I'll
okay, thank you so much. Okay, next are our business items. And these are items we did discuss at our study session earlier tonight, and now is the time that we get the opportunity to vote on them. So we're going to begin with our Provo Peaks Land Trust Amendment, and Wendy will start. Have you?
That's not me.
It says on my paper.
That would be me.
That's you. Okay. Sorry, Devin.
So this is just a change to Provo Peaks amount that is being spent in each of their goals on their plan. Their plan hasn't changed. They just needed to increase the amount they were spending to make sure that they drop below their 10% remaining in their balance.
Yes, and they were using it to improve the proficiency
Correct,
for their multilingual learners, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so to help move the needle with that. So, all right, do we have a motion on this item?
I move that we approve the Provo Peaks Land Trust Amendment as discussed in open meetings tonight.
Okay, motion made by two people at the same time, but we'll take Board Member Van Wagenen.
Oh, she did it. She got it.
Yeah, you start.
I didn't know it was Lisa.
Yeah. You and Lisa started at the same time, but she dropped out. Don't worry.
I didn't even hear you say that.
Okay. Board Member Van Wagenen made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Boyce. Do we have any discussion on the motion?
No.
Okay, all in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Next, we'll have Devin explain the NEBO boundary changes.
So this is just to clean up some historical land that has been annexed into Provo that is currently in NEBO school districts tax records, so that we can make sure everything in Provo is on the Provo City School District tax records.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the district boundary changes with Nebo School District as discussed in open meetings tonight.
Okay, motion made by Vice President Hales. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Hall. Any discussion on the motion? All right, seeing none, all in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Next is our boundary adjustment process for Carterville Road, and we'll have Wendy talk about that.
So this would be to start the process of examining whether or not we take those homes that are along Carterville Road and move them from the Timpview Centennial feeder over to the Shoreline Provo feeder because it's part of the Westridge Elementary School boundaries, so keeping that feeder together. So this would just start that process, and then as we discussed in study session, all of those timelines would go into effect, but a formalized vote would not happen until the end of February.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion on this item?
I move that we approve the process for the boundary adjustment for Carterville Road as discussed in open meetings tonight.
Okay, motion made by Board Member Hall. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Harrison. Any discussion on the motion? Okay. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. And Wendy, if you'll go ahead and explain the next one, please.
So this is just really about to kind of make busing more efficient, actually capture more students and move some of the students that have been going to Edgemont over to Rock Canyon. This, again, is just starting the conversation. It isn't deciding that that's going to happen, but just exploring that and getting some community feedback and figuring out if that would be a good option for us to pursue.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the boundary adjustment process for Edgemont and Rock Canyon as discussed in open meetings tonight.
Okay, motion made by Board Member Boyce. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Vice President Hales. Do we have discussion on the motion?
Just reiterating for the public that this is just so we can go through the process of getting more information and finding out the impact and on families, on schools, et cetera, and that we want to hear from people in the process. It's not a decision to move anything.
And we will have formal community night stuff as well, right? Okay. Any other discussion? All right. All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. And next is our calendar for the 2027-28 school year.
So the survey came back and favored calendar C, which is the earlier start, but ending before Memorial Day. Caleb's helping me with this back there. 2 weeks for winter break, a 3-day fall break, and a full week for spring break. We would adjust. It's not adopting the term ends or the semester ends, but that's just what the survey, we had over 4,000 people respond, stated that they preferred calendar C, but it's now up to you to decide which one you would like to adopt.
Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve calendar C for the 2027-28 school year as discussed in open meetings tonight.
Okay, motion made by Vice President Hales. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Hall. Do we have discussion on the motion? Okay. Oh, go ahead, Lisa.
I just want to state that I really would love us to try at some point a later start date and just see if when people experience that we could, if we just decided we were going to end before Memorial Day but start later and cut short a little by a small amount those breaks during the school year and just find out for real what that feels like as families, because I actually personally just think it would be, I don't know, potentially really lovely to start a little later in August. That's just my comment.
Okay. Ditto. All right. Anybody else? All right. All in favor with the motion to approve calendar C? All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously, although maybe with some reluctance from some. All right, now on to our policies. So we'll start with policy 1410, notice of meetings.
So policy 1410 is our public notice requirements for boards, and it includes 2 procedures that also require public hearing notice requirements and the actual hearing requirements themselves. So.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve policy 1410, notice of meetings, as discussed in open meetings tonight.
Okay, motion made by Board Member Boyce. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Van Wagenen. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. And next is 1424, community involvement in education.
This policy updates how we engage the community in different committees, and specifically the two procedures established: the Parent Advisory Committee and the Community Connections Committee.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve policy 1424, community involvement in education as discussed in open meetings tonight.
Okay, motion made by Vice President Hales. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Hall. Any discussion? All in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. And next is policy 3305, student privacy plan and sex designated facilities.
States that that students must use the sex designated facility that corresponds with their biological sex as defined in the policy, and if something otherwise is requested, then a privacy plan must be put in place in collaboration with parents.
All right, do we have a motion on this item?
I move that we approve policy 3305, student privacy plan and sex designated facilities as discussed in open meetings tonight.
Okay, motion made by Board Member Van Wagenen. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Harrison. Do we have any discussion? All right, all in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And next is policy 3010, school eligibility and admissions requirements.
We had already updated this policy in August, but there's new terminology for minimum age, and so we added this. So this is an update to policy 3010.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve policy 3010, school eligibility and admissions requirements, as discussed in open meetings tonight.
Okay, motion made by Board Member Boyce. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice President Hales. Do we have any discussion?
No.
All right, all those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? That passes unanimously. And next is policy 3118, open enrollment.
Open enrollment is our policy that allows basically school choice, so parents can choose to send their students to any school basically within the state of Utah, but particularly within our district, and establishes those requirements.
All right, do we have a motion? And I just noticed that just the policy number is wrong in the motion language, so just if you can make sure you say 3118 and the correct title. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve policy 3118, open enrollment, as discussed in open meetings tonight.
Okay, thank you, Board Member Hall. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice President Hales. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. And next is policy 3005, kindergarten admissions and attendance.
This is an update to our existing policy that provides clarification on what we have to provide for parents of kindergarten-aged children, including some specifics tied to half-day kindergarten options.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve policy 3005, kindergarten admissions and attendance, as discussed tonight.
Okay, motion made by Board Member Harrison. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Boyce. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. And our last policy for tonight is policy 3650, student data protection.
This policy establishes the kind of data that we gather as a district, how we work to protect student data, and lays out what must be done if a data breach occurs.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve policy 3650, student data protection, as discussed in open meetings tonight.
Okay, motion made by Board Member Boyce. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Board Member Van Wagenen. Any discussion? Yeah, all those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. And now we are at our consent calendar items. Do we have a motion to approve the items on the consent calendar?
I move that we approve the items on the consent calendar.
Okay, motion made by Board Member Hall. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Harrison. Any discussion? We already had that in our other meeting. So, okay. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. And now is our portion of the meeting where we have our various reports. And so we will start with our business administrator report with Devin Daly.
So I was reading, we did administrator evaluations, and our staff and our and other administrators evaluated us. So I read mine today, and apparently one of my biggest weaknesses is recognizing people, not like recognizing who they are, but making sure that I give shout outs. So I'm going to work really hard on doing shout outs. So today I'm going to shout out Bonnie, because she works so hard to keep us all in line, and she's doing so much to help me too, to help me keep caught up, and she does an amazing job. So Bonnie, yay for you. Yay, so
and she's
there's my first shot at it. I hope I get better. So maybe next year it'll be better.
One and done.
We appreciate you, Bonnie, so much. You do so much for all of us. Thank you. And Devin, thank you for that report. So. All right, next is our student board member report. And so we will invite Bailey Lindstrom up for that. And Rachel Rue is sick tonight, and that's why she's not here with us. So.
Hello, I'm Bailey, the student board member from Provo High. The report I have today, Rachel and I have started preparing for the USBA conference. So we started working on our presentation and all the things for that. So that's really exciting. And then in our last student advisory council meeting, we talked about preparing 8th graders for high school. And we talked about making college nights more accessible, having more of them so that more people can attend. We also talked about better communication with our counselors. I feel like sometimes it can be a little hard to talk to counselors and stuff. And we also talked about making opportunities such as internships and MTech and CTE classes and stuff more known for these 8th graders coming in. And then we also talked about campus safety and like specifically school dances and assemblies and like sporting events, like if there's a fire or anything, like what to do there. So we have our admin going back and talking at each of the high schools for that and coming up with a plan. So yeah, that's all I have. Are there any questions?
What questions do you have for Bailey?
Just thank you.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Go ahead.
I do have a question for you. So you guys discussed how to support the 8th graders coming into the high school better, and I love that you're having that discussion and brainstorming some things since you had just recently gone through it yourselves. Is there a plan on, now that you have collected some of that feedback, what to do with it to help improve our system?
We talked a little bit about that, nothing like set, but we did talk to admin and having them reach out to parents and stuff like that, and even me and Rachel possibly reaching out to the middle schools and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of
okay.
What we have.
Sorry, Lisa, did you want to say anything else? I kind of interrupted.
No,
you.
no, I was
Okay.
just saying thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
I know it's a busy season for you all seniors with college applications and everything else, so I really appreciate your time.
I just want you to know I told parents in a video cast that you guys had given a presentation on a later start time for high schools, and I already have 4 emails from parents asking the board to please consider this for their teenagers' sake and their own sanity's sake. So when you think that it's not making a difference, I want you to know that those voices are heard and that people are paying attention to what young people are saying. So thank you for all of the work that your group is doing with that. So that was awesome to see that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And I've already had people at our school board association saying, are we having a student board member come teach a class this year? I really want to go to it. So
no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, but no, they're excited to hear your perspective and your experience. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next is our board member roundtable. Let's just start with Melanie, if there's anything you want to share.
It's been fun to work with the Student Advisory Council, and I appreciate Gina filling in for me last month when I couldn't go. But it's really good to hear these students' voices, and it's good to see different kids' perspectives around the table, kids that may not necessarily be seen, that are always out in the open. So it's good to see that. I appreciate the work on the policy committee. They work really hard, and we still have a long way to go, but I really appreciate all the work that we've been doing. So.
Anything, Emily?
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that I think the PTA is awesome. They do great work, and thank you to all of those parents that put in time to do all of that work. I got to attend the reflections little ceremony that they did for the kids in the district, and there were some really cool pieces, and they did a great job of recognizing those students' efforts. So thanks to the PTA.
I'm going to wave. I don't.
Okay. You're good. You're good. I'll go last, so go ahead, Jean.
I'm so old, I don't know what I'm doing. Student Advisory Council is going well. We're preparing for the USBA. What other committees am I on? Capital Facilities will meet coming up pretty soon. Tomorrow? Amen.
Go ahead, Terry.
That was funny. Some good news. There is no more school safety task force ever again. Yay! I thank you to Melanie for taking over LegCon, since I won't be able to do it next year. Last week at Community Council at Franklin, a BYU student, he got some kind of grant, and he's going to help with some safe routes to school at Franklin at the 400 South and 700 West intersection. And we told him he had to go and present this to the neighborhood, which was that night. So we made him do that, and he did. Good job. And then for the first time, I was able to volunteer at Amelia Elementary. They do a Christmas store every year so that the kids can buy presents for siblings or friends or themselves or parents, and that was really fun to be a personal shopper for a bunch of kids. So that was very fun. I liked doing that.
Lisa?
I don't have a lot to add. Policy committee is always fun, and we made a lot of progress, I feel like, in 2025 on policy, and I'm just so grateful for the district admin who worked so hard on preparing all those policies for us. I also attended Canyon Crest PTA meeting, which I don't get to do very often, and this makes it my second time this year, but just I love seeing our parents engaged, and what a difference that makes for our teachers. I love seeing our teachers and administrators and parents in a room talking about how to improve teaching and learning. It's always inspiring. So anyway, thank you for that.
Thank you. And then my update is that our PBIS Kindness Committee is very focused on our strategic plan goal of improving our PBIS supports, and we talk about it every meeting, the data, and we're setting some baselines and things like that, and already seeing a lot of positive improvements in our schools. And we're also planning the kindness retreat. Will be the last 2 Wednesdays of January, so if you'd like to come check that out, you're welcome to. I can give you the details on that. And we're involving our middle and high school kindness club leaders to help teach parts of our classes and activities there that day. And we're going to kick off doing kindness chains in all of our schools to start a chain reaction of kindness there. So, all right, we'll turn it over to Wendy for our superintendent report.
So you see we do have some travel that was approved. It's all in-state travel, so it just went through my approval, but you can see that there. And then I was just, I was thinking about as you scroll through Instagram sometimes late at night, and you see that there's a lot of anti-education sentiment that exists out there. And just watching our cabinet and our principals really trying to figure out ways to lighten the load of our teachers and really understanding kind of the weight that's on everyone. And so recognizing that there are a lot of demands being made of public education and things that we're trying to live up to, and also trying to realize that we're doing a lot of really amazing things, and how can we tell that story more effectively, so that those negative voices don't overtake us, especially this time of year. I was up at Timpview High recording a podcast, and it was really cute to interview some of the choir students, because they said, it feels like the world is so negative, but when I'm in choir, I get to share something that I love, and it's a peaceful feeling of happiness and kindness. And I was like, that's what I need to remember every single day. And so they were grateful for the season, because it reminds us of that. And I just hope that I will continue to remember that in January when it gets a little bleaker in that process. So just that balance of having high expectations, but also recognizing how hard people are working, and just the great work that is happening in education despite all of the negativity that's out there. So
that's it. Thank you, Wendy. That's one of the reasons I love being on the board so much, is to get to see and hear so much of, there's so many hundreds of wonderful people here making a difference in kids' lives every single day, and they do it because they care, and they're leading with heart, and they're pouring their everything into what they're doing. And yes, we appreciate all of it. And I know many of you are watching right now, when you could be with your families instead, or you made time to watch later, and we so appreciate you. So thank you. Our next board meeting will be on Tuesday, January 13th, and we hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season. Do we have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Anybody?
I move that we adjourn our business meeting.
Okay, motion made by Vice President Hales. Do we have a second?
I will second it.
Second by Board Member Hall, and we are adjourned.
Yeah.
See you next Saturday.
Not Emily. She.
So sad.